up, y'all? It's boy MJ Duplessis here for Learning the Ropes on Cold TV, and we have a very special episode. As today, if you are a pro wrestling fan, you know today is the 20th anniversary of the late great Eddie Guerrero, our goat. I know me and Chrissy very much share that in common. Um, and we are going to talk about our 13 favorite Eddie Guerrero matches. First off, Chrissy, question: as a pro wrestling fan, what has Eddie Guerrero's career and his what he did in the meant to you personally?
Eddie Guerrero is probably the first example of representation that I've ever seen in terms of Latin wrestlers on television. I grew up very strictly a WWE girl. I wasn't very much into lucha or the indies or anything else of that nature. And during the early 90s, for a very long time, it was very very clear on my television screen. There wasn't a lot of shades of brown. But when Eddie got TV time, he soaked it up. He chewed into it. He ate everything up, and he made sure that you knew who he was, and he made sure that you remembered who he was when he was off screen. And just seeing everything that he ever did in such an unfortunate short amount of time just goes to show that you can make an impact. You do matter. The work you do and the effort you put forth matters to people, because even still 20 years later, we're still here talking about him like we just lost him, and it's still raw and it still hurts. And for me personally, I think it always will, because it's always that question of what if, what could he have done, where could he have gone, could he be working with, like the young up and comers now? Would he be working at the performance center? Would he be traveling the world? Would he be retired? And it's moments like these that give me some kind of reprieve, knowing that I have people who I love and care about that love Eddie just as much as I do. And we can have these moments where we can just remember and reminisce and appreciate the work that he did, not only for us as fans, but just as the industry as a whole.
Yes. I was going to ask, as a Latin American and Spanish, Eddie Guerrero as a cultural phenomenal as he was when he showed up on the States, what that meant to y'all's culture.
Wrestling wasn't really cool in certain areas of my neighborhood growing up until Eddie and Ray really got big. They got so big to the point where they started getting mentioned and like done in street art, in murals and graffiti, streetwear, the clothes, the representation in terms of that, just Eddie's face plastered everywhere, jackets, hats, and that was a cool thing to do, which it wasn't really an option for me growing up. So just having that gateway, that leeway to be able to be seen and noticed in a positive way because of that man meant so much to me, because I wasn't really able to fully enjoy wrestling out in the open for fear of, getting bullied, which is what most of us went through growing up. But when Eddie got really hot on the scene, it was almost like a status symbol if you knew who he was. So me being the little dork that I was and super into Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, I was hot shit in terms of everyone for having the knowledge that I did. And it still didn't feel like enough. I don't think it'll ever feel like it was enough. But that man did so much, not only for Mexican culture, but just for Latin culture as a whole, to the point where there's that joke where Latin people don't play about two Mexicans. They don't play about Selena and they don't play about Eddie Guerrero. And
That
that
is
still
somebody
rings
who,
true.
yes, as somebody who's been around a lot of Latin American cultures of all countries. Yeah, you two, those two people, that is, you don't play with those names.
I'll die on a hill for those two for the rest of my days. And it allowed me to be able to appreciate wrestling more and learn about the fact that he wasn't just from WWE or WCW or ECW. He has this whole long tenured career before that. And I don't think a lot of people realize that, even some of his biggest fans that are mostly from WWE. So hopefully with our list today, we can give people a little bit more insight into what Eddie did. Hopefully, have them watch some tapes, look back into his earlier career, and just further be able to appreciate him, even though he's not with us anymore.
Yes. And with that, we are going to start with our list. Chrissy, what is your 13 favorite match from Eddie Guerrero?
So this might be surprising to some people because I know it's usually the top of a lot of people's list, but I'm starting with a WWE based match, and it's No Way Out when he beat Brock for the title. And I will never forget just the rush of emotion that I felt when that bell rung and just the entire crowd erupted. And I don't think I've seen a crowd do that really ever since. And don't get me wrong, you've had your Dolph Ziggler's cash in on Alberto Del Rio's, you've had your Seth Rollins Steals WrestleMania moments, you've had those moments, and they're huge, rightfully so earned moments by those particular performers. But maybe it was just me. Maybe it was just me being in a tunnel unto myself. But when that bell rung and I saw him jump into the crowd and just that burst of light that came from him, that will always be something that's burned into my brain. Was it one of Eddie's best matches? Far from it. Eddie's probably one of the best mat technicians out there, let alone like luchadors just in general. But just knowing that he finally had his moment in the sun was just enough for me to put that as my number 13.
Yeah. And you're not the only one. I remember watching that match as a kid, 12-year-old me, and being happy as a man, a kid, happy to see the man I grew up watching finally get his due respect, especially, with everything he had been through up until that point with his career. So no, definitely respect it being at 13. My number 13 is the very first Ring of Honor show. Eddie Guerrero versus Super Crazy. The honor of Era of Honor begins. You get two Lucha Libre legends in Philadelphia, right outside of South Philly, in a high school gym. In Eddie Guerrero versus Super Crazy, at the first show of an independent wrestling company that nobody knew was going to be the company that it ended up being. People thought this company was just going to be a flash in the pan like most independents at that time. And it was cool to see two legends go at it and put their all in it, because that match is phenomenal for, it just being like it was like 300 people. It was like not a big crowd. So yeah, my number 13 is Eddie Guerrero versus Super Crazy at the Era of Honor begins in 2002. My number 12, Fall Brawl 1997, Eddie Guerrero versus Chris Jericho.
Oh,
This
that's good. That is good.
this match is phenomenal. It's in my opinion, one of Eddie's most underrated matches. And that feud with Chris Jericho for that U.S. belt and the Cruiserweight belt, because they fought for both belts in 97, one of the most underrated feuds in Eddie's career. Like that feud in 97 with Chris Jericho is phenomenal. And if you have on Peacock, go watch this match. It is one of their most underrated matches of that feud. What is your number 12?
So going right along with the lesser known, like more major matches for Eddie, my number 12 is Eddie Guerrero versus Super Crazy as well as ROH 2002 for the IWA Championship.
And it's for a championship in Puerto Rico, in Philly.
It's insane, and this is what I'm really glad that we're going to be able to really just sink our teeth into today, is those lesser known matches, at least lesser known for, like the quote unquote casual fan. You do have the stalkers such as us where it gets a little much, it gets a little intense, but
we know everything about Eddie in his matches.
I do love having friends that are just wrestling encyclopedias. I pride myself on having access.
Thank you. But yes, this match, that Ring of Honor match is phenomenal.
It's insane that and we're gonna go into this more as our list goes on, but it's so important to watch those smaller shows. It's not always the giant companies that deserve your full attention, because you could be in the presence of greatness and have no idea that you were until 5 years later when they're rerunning the tapes.
Facts.
So please support the smaller promotions. Always support the smallest promotions. You have no idea who you're going to be seeing making greatness right in front of your eyes unless you go to those shows.
Absolutely. 100% agree. What is your number 11?
My number 11 is Eddie Guerrero versus Ultimo Dragon, WCW 97. I didn't become an Ultimo Dragon. Like, I wasn't really super knowledgeable about Ultimo Dragon, funny enough, until he showed up in NXT. Once again, I was a very strictly WWF, WWE household girl. So just being able to watch that back and see both of them work, like, can you really ever say that Eddie was never in his prime? I feel like Eddie was just forever in his prime from beginning to end. But just it's like watching two monoliths like go at it. It's like watching like Goliath and Goliath go at it,
Yeah.
and just being able to watch the mat work. It's insane. And that's what I feel like is missing from a lot of the cruiserweight divisions and the high fly divisions now, is that level of like preciseness when it comes to in-ring work. And Eddie was insane when it came to that. And that match definitely shows.
Yeah. The flippy dippy stuff with the psychology, Eddie was phenomenal at. And so was Ultimo.
Mm-hmm.
My number my number 11 is Eddie as Black Tiger versus Wild Pegasus from the Best of the Super Juniors in 1995.
Man, we're deep cuts all around.
Always. You know who you're talking to. For people who don't know who Wild Pegasus is, that would be the later to be known Chris Benoit. This is super early in their careers when they were tearing up New Japan uh, with the Super Juniors. Uh, was at its, in my opinion, the high. I mean, I like what Super Juniors do now in New Japan, but the early to mid '90s Super Juniors with the Wild Pegasus, with the Jericho, with an Eddie, Owen Hart had some matches out there. That was a great time. But yes, the I think it's day 4 of the Super Juniors tournament. Wild Pegasus versus Black Tiger. And that's another thing. Eddie, people ought to know about Eddie as Eddie, but him as Black Tiger in Japan.
So much so to the point where Dominic, I believe, made a reference to him recently when they were doing the Japan tour. He came
He
out
wore the
in
Black Tiger
the Black,
mask.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was such a beautiful tribute to Eddie. I think if anyone, funny enough, if anyone's gonna carry on the Guerrero name, I feel like it's always gonna be a Mysterio.
Yes. And I think that with all of Lucha Libre, at least bringing to the States with, not only his gear, because his gear's got little spots of Lucha Libre legends all over it that, like, you really have to know. And, like, a lot of the guys are, like, his uncles and his godfathers. And that's just...
I mean, it just works when you can just go into somebody's closet and be like, I'll just take this.
Yeah, that's fucking phenomenal. What is your number 10?
So this comes from an outside source. This comes from a very dear friend of mine, Danny Nemesis, who is an amazing ring announcer that works all across the Indies, specifically for Battle Club. And he suggested Eddie Guerrero and Amazing Red versus the SAT at Ring of Honor 2002. Nice. And I think it's so important to get, people in the industry's opinions when it comes to these things, because it's different talking to a fan as opposed to someone that's behind the curtain, and just knowing that these people that are amongst, like big, huge superstars still like the same things that we do because they're still just fans at the end of the day. They're marks like the rest of us,
Absolutely. My number 10 is from Judgment Day 2004. Eddie Guerrero versus JBL.
I'm so sorry. I just remember JBL chasing people over the border.
Yes. And
Was
this is what I love about this rivalry in this match. The match, by the way, not a wrestling match. Those two beat each other the fuck up. They were both bloody as hell. Like, it's not your regular Eddie Guerrero match. They literally, like, okay, we're going to kill each other.
this
And
is
then
strictly
this
storyline
feud.
based.
Yes. Um, and then this feud. And for people who don't know the history of this whole rivalry and the stuff, the wild shit JBL said. Um, yes. And JBL from the casual wrestling fans gets a lot of heat for shit he said. Not a lot of people know, and he's wrote this in his book. Had him say that by studying tapes of his AAA stuff he did with Art Barr when they were doing the Gringos Locos and saying off-scene shit while in Mexico.
I can just imagine JBL going like, I really don't want to say that, and he's like,
Yeah.
say it, just say it.
And he's talking about, he's like, I didn't want to do the thing with his mom. I didn't want to do any of these, like, I didn't want to go to the board. Like, it was, Eddie's like, everything's off limits. Do your thing. You're the heel. We're going to push buttons.
Just
And
JBL sweating the entire time.
nervous. Fucking love this. And it's, again, a different side of Eddie. It's a brawl. It's not a technical Lucha Libre match. It's two guys who are like, we're going to beat the fuck out of each other. And I love that. What is your number 9?
So my number 9 is Eddie Guerrero as Black Tiger versus Alex Wright at Super Juniors 95. It's going to be a lot of Super Juniors references in this pod. I feel like it's going to be a lot.
Yes. The
But
Super
just
Juniors 95 specifically is a phenomenal show. The talent on that card is top tier.
it's insane. And I think that's why it's so important for fans now to just be aware of their history. And people think when we say history, it's always the Attitude Era and the Monday Night Wars. And there's so much before that, so much beyond that. And especially when it comes to Super Juniors tournaments, like they make or break stars more than people really ever realize. So the fact that Eddie did these matches in these Super Juniors tournaments and has burned himself into the diaspora that is the wrestling like mindset. It's stupid how good he was. I'm still mad that he wasn't able to go on for what I would have wanted him to, which would have been forever.
Yeah.
He would have been Ric Flair and wrestling until like he was like 99, if I could have had it that way.
Yeah, same. Or, he's coaching the next generation.
Could you imagine Eddie with like a Javon Evans?
Oh, Eddie with like a Fraxium?
Oh my god.
Like,
I
or
feel like
even
Eddie
like,
and Dom would have been too easy to throw together. I feel like they would have put that off a little bit longer.
yes.
But
Or picture Eddie backstage with Chavo right now. Because salute to Chavo just getting that job with the WWE and doing the AAA stuff backstage.
I mean, it's about time.
Yes. Well, picture Eddie and Chavo backstage working AAA shows
It'd be so good. It'd be so
and
good.
the masterpieces that could become from that.
Just Eddie and Leyeska.
My number 9, Eddie's first match on the Independents after rehab and the car accident. ICW in New York at the Elks Lodge in Queens. Eddie Guerrero versus Loki.
God. Deep
Like,
cuts. Deep cuts. People are
yes,
gonna need their fucking Wikipedias for this episode, but it'll be worth it, I promise.
absolutely. And Loki gets a lot of heat now because people stories have come out his attitude. But Loki in 2002 was one of the biggest independent stars that every company was looking at, and he got that opportunity to wrestle Eddie Guerrero in his first match back wrestling after a car accident and going through AA and a rehab. And they in a filled out Elks Lodge that ECW ran like a year before, the Madhouse of Queens, and they tore it up. And it's a like from bell to bell, it's a phenomenal match.
It's crazy that the first match that Eddie decided to do after all that was that show, was the style of basically indie show. And it just goes to show how much he loved the business, like the craft of it all. Like he could have went back to the Federation. I'm certain they would have immediately taken him back with some kind of caveat, but he wanted to get himself right first, and the way that he did that was to work that style of match. And not everyone has the humility to be able to do so, especially being the star that he was at the time. It could have affected his ego or anything else like that, but he decided just to go back to grassroots, and I think that really speaks to who he was as a performer and a person.
Yes, absolutely. So we're on your number 8, I think.
So my number 8, just because I love a good like Hall of Fame lineup, it's Eddie Guerrero, Taz, Dean Malenko, and Too Cold Scorpio in ECW 95. Like, you really can't get any more ECW bloodline like tap into the vein
Oh,
than Dean Malenko and Eddie Guerrero and Taz, and also Two Cold Scorpio.
yeah,
I love Two Cold Scorpio, but like if you're gonna put me in a room with Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko and Taz and Two Cold, I'm probably gonna lean a little bit more towards Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko.
yeah.
But it's just the building blocks of ECW probably at like one of the hottest times in its period. And just it's just a good, solid fucking match. It's just so well worked. And I feel like that's missing a lot from a lot of the work that's done nowadays. I feel like a lot of it is showy for the sake of, like social media hits and pops and hot moments. But sometimes I just want to watch wrestling for wrestling.
Facts.
And that was absolutely the match to satiate that hunger of mine.
Absolutely. Um, my number 8 is actually his debut in ECW against Two Cold Scorpio. Uh, and it's for the ECW TV title. Uh, but yeah, Eddie's like real first debut in the States in a madhouse that is the ECW arena where those fans were not nice. They booed the fuck out of you if you were,
That's what we'll say.
yeah. I try not to cuss on this show. It's not my channel.
I apologize for previous episodes then.
Yeah, I know. I just don't. But yeah. But you get him making his debut to the state, like big debut to the states, against someone like Too Cold, who was already on a phenomenal run in ECW up to this point. Like he was one of the faces of early ECW that I think gets forgotten about is Too Cold with what he was doing. Um, and then uh, yeah, and then you have the fans the Philadelphia fans, as much as they are assholes, they're fucking knowledgeable about the pro wrestling business, and they knew who he was up to that point with everything he had done in Mexico and Japan. I think that is a great culmination of someone's wrestling debut for a company. Is that that match in Philadelphia with against Too Cold? So that is my number 8. What is your number 7?
So real quick, that Too Cold match with Eddie, that was when 95.
Yeah,
Funny enough, my number 7 is also that same match.
it's
Because of course it is. We're too
yeah.
related to that.
That match is phenomenal.
It really was. It really was. And it's just like what you said. Like Eddie already had lore before he officially came all the way over. And to just exceed expectations, the expectations that he set, which were already incredibly high, the standard was through the roof, and to still surprise people to the day to the day of his final match, he still managed to always do more than people expected for someone of his stature and size and who he was going up against, and that's always who he was. But yeah, just to piggyback off of your previous choice, it's the same choice because it's just a good match.
It's a phenomenal match. My number 7 is Eddie Guerrero versus CM Punk in IWA Mid South. Uh, Eddie Eddie Guerrero being able to take a kid who was at that time was the face of the independent wrestling scene. Everyone wanted to be CM Punk or wanted to wrestle CM Punk. He had already made his name for himself as like he was supposed to be the guy to be next up. Everyone knew CM Punk was gonna be like signed to a company in the next couple years. And what I love about this match, because it's phenomenal, again, ring work, but what I love about this match is a quote CM Punk said a few years after this match. And he's like, I thought I was good, and then I faced Eddie Guerrero. That's how great Eddie Guerrero was. Is you take a guy like Punk, who I love Punk, but he's a cocky bastard. And sometimes thinks his shit doesn't speak. Especially in this CM Punk. This CM Punk would tell you that his IWA Ring of Honor ZZW run, he really was full of himself. And he was like, nah, I'm not good. Like that's just says so much about Eddie Guerrero as a in-ring competitor. That like, yeah, he makes guys level up to
He
like
was a
be
reality check for a
yeah,
lot of people. He was a reality check for a lot of people. A few people have come out and said that they're incredibly grateful to him, like Punk, because
yeah,
if it wasn't for them, they wouldn't have ever felt the need to push themselves. So, like he was a tastemaker. He made people want to do more.
yeah.
And I really hope that this generation of wrestlers finds someone like that eventually, someone that makes you want to push, because the greatness that came after Eddie because of the people that worked with him is immense.
What is your number 7 or 6?
I think we're at 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is your 6?
So my number 6, to add a little bit of levity to everything. This might be a little silly of a choice, but it's the it's the Dominic on a ladder match.
I was wondering if one of us was going to put this there. I had not, but I'm happy you did.
I'm the sunshine comedy character. Of course, I had to.
Especially
But
with everything Dom is doing with like always telling Ray that he wish he was Eddie's son or like
the T-shirt he had of himself playing the PSP
yes.
as a child was so good.
Yeah.
And it's not even for the reasons people think that I'm picking this match. It goes back to psychology, like what you were saying
Yeah.
beforehand. Eddie was so much more than just a really good in-ring worker. Eddie could do the storylines, he could do the comedy bits, he could do the seemingly impossible like skits to make it work. He did an amazing job with China. I love Latino Heat, Mommy, China,
Yeah.
like that era of Eddie so much.
I don't
But
like that
man,
they did it with, Damian Priest and Rhea, but that's a whole nother story.
oh my god, don't even get me started. But like just the fact that they were able to take this Telemundo Univision telenovela storyline and make people not only invested but like legitimately care, to the point where Dominic got an action figure at some point during that time. He was the extra part that came with somebody. I forget
It
the
was
original
Eddie.
figure was for. It was it Eddie?
Yeah. I had that action figure as a kid, actually.
It's so good. It's so
Actually, I think it was
good.
a double pack or a triple pack because it was Eddie, Ray, and him.
I need it now. It's probably a bajillion dollars on eBay, but I need to find it
Yeah.
because it goes to show that like he can make this ridiculous thing work
Yeah.
so well, to the point where like I hated him for months.
Oh,
I
oh.
legitimately wouldn't. I would change the channel. because how dare he try and take away Rey Mysterio's son? Come to find out, he doesn't like him anyway. But at the time, I was very upset.
The fact that, and we had seen Eddie as a heel up to that point, but that super serious like psychopathic heel that he was able to tell that, like that I don't remember if you remember this promo where he's got the lights like down low and he's like got Ray's mask and he's like yelling at it.
It's so good. It's so
Like,
good. I would have killed to see Eddie in like a serious villain role.
yeah,
Not cocky or egotistical or
no.
showy, just rage. Because I really feel like he could have sold that. There were instances of that with the Rey Mysterio storyline, absolutely 100%. But you know, like in the fan casts in my mind, he would have done so much more with that style of character because it was just so like
Vicious.
drippingly good, just vicious,
Yeah.
insane.
If only Vicky had not fucked up that finish.
Listen, she was a noob, okay? Don't blame that woman.
Sorry. All I can remember from that match is him yelling, "Where the fuck is Vicky?"
I would die if I was her. I was like, listen, I'm so sorry. I apologize.
It's so good. It's so funny.
You already know that was like a legitimate conversation when they got back in the house, right? Like, listen, like I know this is your job. I understand, but you cursed me out on camera, and that's just there now. So we're gonna have to deal with this.
Facts. And he is probably like, it almost cost me my job. Like, you're fucking up shit here.
That's also
You
very
be part of
true.
the business. You'll be there on time. Oh,
Don't
goddamn.
Papa Shango the situation.
I got that, and that was funny.
I'm very listen. If I can pop you of all people with like a historic wrestling joke, I can go to sleep tonight soundly. I win.
I got that. That's great. My number 6 is the ladder match from Raw. Eddie, like his first big match, Eddie Guerrero versus Rob Van Dam, coming back.
Oh, disgusting. Oh, so good. Oh my god.
Like RVD, like I know he had like the big run in 06, but like RVD in like 02 was just the coolest motherfucker. And Eddie said, "I'm coming back. I'm taking your place as the coolest motherfucker back on this show. Move the fuck over." And that ladder match is like, in my opinion, one of the better ladder matches. Like that, the way they did that with the acrobaticness and the lucha libre and Rob Van Dam's athleticism, and they did it for like 20 minutes, like almost half an hour actually, and it's just phenomenally well done.
Especially at that point, like in that time period, WWE fan bases weren't exactly used to like long scale matches.
No.
So to go that long in a ladder match of all things and maintain the crowd's attention is such an incredibly hard thing to do because WWE until fairly, like, let's be honest, fairly recently didn't sell a ladder match other than anything. Like it was a big gimmick match, big gimmick match. Never really led to anything. No one, like decides a major championship off of a ladder match, at least not at that particular point in time. But man, it's like, you remember when they said that there was the only person bigger than Obama in 2009 was Jeff Hardy?
Yes.
That's what it felt like it was with Eddie and Rob Van Dam. So just to have that explosion of like star power in that match of all things was just like, I wish I could go back. I wish I could go back. I wish I knew.
Watch that match on such a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. And like it, and I really loved it for Rob because it was Eddie telling them that Rob is more than the weed references and the like 2-worded answers backstage where he's like stoned all the time. Like, oh no, we have a phenomenal wrestler here. We should probably use him more.
And then what do? Immediately put him back in the weed role and the 2-worded answers.
Yeah.
Because WWE is consistent, if nothing else.
Well, facts. What is your number 5?
So my number 5 is another Black Tiger match. It is Black Tiger versus Taka Michinoku,
Oh,
94.
so good.
And I think people really forget how good Taka Michinoku is
Because he
because
was
of
the comedy bullshit they made him.
because like, oh, he's Asian, so just like
Yeah,
Chinese stuff, right? I'm like, that's incorrect all the way around, but sure, we'll roll with it. But man, like WWE back then basically had like NXT caliber, like what we would consider
yeah,
now as like NXT caliber
talent.
ROH talent, and just botched it because they wanted to be funny because they
Yeah,
thought that was the way to go. And I'm like, man, if we could have kept Taka there for longer, we could have had more matches like this, serious, really good matches.
they
And it's
let
just so
him do it.
unfortunate.
They let him do it once with that WrestleMania match with Aguila,
That's right.
and
And
then it
then
was
never
just like,
again.
yeah,
And then they're like, you know what? You're too good. Actually, let's just pull back.
yeah. And I've never understood that thought process with Attitude Era WWF.
And just hopefully we learn from our mistakes as like a collective and just make
Yes.
sure that we use these bursts of fire while they're still hot. Because man, that match, I rewatched a couple of clips before we came on here just to make sure that I
Yeah.
wasn't, rambling into the void. And I almost missed the cue because I got wrapped up in the match and I almost forgot we were recording tonight. I was like, oh, I
Oh,
gotta go.
is that why you were happening? That's why you were late. I was. That's hilarious.
It's a really good match.
It is, and I don't blame you actually at all. Uh, my number 5 is Starcade '96, Eddie versus DDP for the U.S. title. Another one of those those WCW matches and feuds that like not a lot of the casual fans know about is that feud with DDP in '96 that pretty much helped them become. Well, DDP would become a bigger star later on, but like that really helped him become like a mid Carter like mainstay from like '96 to '97. And Eddie, I think, saw something in DDP and was like, "Let's go out there and let's steal the fucking show." Because Starcade '96 is an okay pay per view, and that match is definitely one of the better matches on that show.
And I think it's just the benefit of having two people that are able to communicate the way that they do, because people have gone back and said that DDP is incredibly good to work with because he's
Yeah,
open-minded, he's willing to take criticism, he's willing to take, like advice or suggestions, and just both of their minds working the way that they do, like it was bound to be a good match. It's very rare that you have people with the mentality for the business that you do with people like Eddie or DDP, even to this day. So this is why it's so important to know your history, because places, funnily enough, like WWE will try and erase those moments, even though they now own all of those moments. So you would think that they would want to push it more, but please, God, study up on your favorite wrestlers. Look at stuff outside of what they're majorly known for, because you'll be surprised on just how much you'll miss in terms of what they're actually capable of.
facts. Mm. What is your number 4?
So my number 4 is Eddie Guerrero and Black Tiger. Eddie Guerrero and Shibata and Wataru at NJPW 2002. And once again, it just goes back to me trying to learn more outside of my scope, and really falling in love with Shibata and
Yes.
not realizing that Shibata had worked with Eddie Guerrero. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, cool. We're just going to go run that back.
Yeah.
And once again, it's not fair. It's not fair how well he can just meld into just different styles. And Shibata as well. Like Shibata is so well versed in working with luchadors. It's insane. and just seeing those styles come together and just work together so beautifully and just have it visually come together so well in a sport that's literally just giant men attacking each other. They make it seem so effortless. They make it seem so fluid, so rhythmic. And it's just a beautiful thing to watch. So I would definitely suggest that for anybody that's trying to learn more about Eddie.
Yes, absolutely. And do you want to know a fun fact about this 2002 run in New Japan for Eddie Guerrero?
Tell me.
So he was part of a faction in New Japan in 2002 called Team 2000, which is what they had to call NWO Japan when WWF bought WCW. So technically, Eddie Guerrero was a member of the NWO. Because it's literally the same people, they just had to rebrand it because the WWF bought WCW and they can no longer use the NWO name.
Fucking capitalism.
So, yeah, it's that 2002 run in New Japan was short because he was doing a lot of indie stuff. But yeah, that match is phenomenal. But yeah, Shibata, not a lot of people know, Shibata's been working for a long ass time. Like, I know he's getting his like flowers in AEW, but like
He just ages well. Like that's all it really is.
he's been doing this for a long ass time. My number 4 is Eddie versus Brock at No Way Out. Him getting the belt.
Mm.
Um, just as a fan of his for so long, for him to finally get that big belt after he was getting passed up by everyone on that fucking roster to get you know a chance at that belt, and for someone like Lesnar who was pushed to the fucking moon and back in 2002. Uh,
Happy thoughts. Happy
yeah,
thoughts. We're fine.
yes, so quickly as he was to get that championship off of the Raw. It was cool to see Eddie finally be able to finally get his respect and his flowers in that moment with that holding that belt. Um, but yes, that is my number 4. What is your number 3?
So with WWE working with AAA, I figured I'd throw this one in there. My number 3 is Eddie Guerrero and Love Machine versus Hijo del Santo and Octagon AAA 94.
Uh, uh, When World Squad,
Yes.
because also my number 3.
So we can just talk this out now, actually.
Absolutely, absolutely. Uh, my favorite tag team from AAA is uh, Eddie and Art. I love Eddie and Art as a tag team, and that feud between Gringos Locos or Locos Gringos and the baby faces of AAA, just all of '94 is just phenomenal. And those two as a tag team against Santo and Octagon, masterful.
It's just, once again, it's, if you want to watch masterclass style wrestling for a particular subsection of wrestling, like you can't get any worse. You probably couldn't get any better, especially with WWE working with AAA right now, and I'm really super concerned that they're going to kind of water it down, at least for the American style audiences. So hopefully with them opening up the doors to AAA for a more, mainstream audience, once again, it'll give people the wherewithal to go back and to watch these things. Because if you want good AAA, this is something you can't miss.
Yeah, phenomenal stuff. And as he is from someone from the Northwest, people look up and watch Hard Bar. Phenomenal wrestler. And for people who like to argue this, he's the one who created the frog splash, people.
You're gonna get a lot of argumentative comments on this post, I feel like. So just
Yes,
be prepared.
I know, but it's an out known there fact that he created the frog splash and Eddie borrowed it after he died or used it as an homage after he passed because they were best friends. And Ray, I love you, but Art was his first best friend, and you need to stop with the
Listen, he might have been the best friend, but Ray's his brother, and those are two different things.
touche.
Not gonna
I
play in,
read
not gonna play in my face in terms of Rey Mysterio. I don't know what you thought this was.
touche. I just did. Conan has even gone on record that like Eddie and Art were like inseparable in Mexico,
Mhm.
inseparable in Mexico, and I just Art I think deserves his respect for what
Absolutely,
he did for
what he
Eddie's
meant
career.
to Eddie. Yeah,
Yeah. Um. So what is your number two? Since our threes were the same.
that was a quick wrap up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So my number two is it's again Eddie and Dean because they just work so well together. ECW TV Championship '95,
Yeah. The
and
yeah, they
it's
did great
just
work.
it's ridiculous how good they did, and it's just such a I'm sorry, it's such a shame that Dean Malenko got regulated to like lead a stalker in WWE, and
I tried
and
so
you're like,
hard to forget that storyline.
there was a lot of non-consensual storylines in WWE in the early 2000s, but in like '99, ooh,
Yeah, there was that.
but
Yeah,
like just once again, it's like having sand slip through your fingers. Like I don't understand how you can just not see those two stars and just have them go at it forever. But Nation of Domination really had to get the push at the time. But once again, just learn your history, rewatch your stuff, rewatch the tapes, talk to people in the know, talk to people like MJ Duplessis who knows everything. Because this is where you get the good stuff. This is where you find out what your wrestlers really like, what their salt is worth. And Eddie is so far and beyond, and that match is definitely one of my favorites.
yes. Um, my number two, and this is I'm gonna get a lot of hate for my number two because this is weirdly renowned as in the pro wrestling universe as his best match. But my number two, for personal reasons, is Eddie versus Rhea Halloween Havoc in '97.
Oh, oh, oh,
Yes,
woof. My God.
yes, I know. Um, but yeah, but again, what we can't say, like, I can't say everything that's already been said about this fucking match. It is probably in my opinion, it's the greatest WCW match of all time. It's definitely, it's Ray's best match.
And we love Ray. We both love
Yes,
Ray a lot.
I love
I
Ray
will
to
not,
death.
I won't fight you on that at
Yeah.
all.
And bell to bell, those two on a major stage like Halloween Havoc, which was one of their bigger pay per views at the time, put a Lucha Libre exhibition match, top tier match on pay per view. And it is phenomenally done. Eddie and Ray, I thank you for that masterpiece.
To this day, I'm pretty sure every podcast we've ever done together that's mentioned Eddie
And Ray,
has had, yeah, that
yeah,
either Eddie or Ray has
yeah,
had the Hollywood Havoc match mentioned in some way, shape, or form. It's like freaking Brett and Austin. It's Sean
yeah,
and everyone. Like there are certain matches that are going to be spoken about through like the analogs of wrestling history, and Hollywood Havoc is definitely up there.
yes, facts, as it should be. What is your number two?
So my number two, uh, also was Halloween Havoc.
Oh, you made me feel bad. You're slick.
I love you, cuz I love you so much. But it's the
What?
same thing.
Yeah,
It's verbatim the same thing. It's there's so many amazing matches that Eddie's performed over his time where I wanted to give flowers to the ones that were a little less well known to the public.
Yes.
Once again, just to make sure that he's not forgotten. So I'm going to force people to watch stuff that they've probably never seen before, just to be
Absolutely.
able to have a bigger reason to love Eddie, to remember Eddie. Because every one of their mother is going to do Halloween Havoc and No Way Out and the JBL feud and Jericho and everything else. But it's those little nuggets of knowledge that people may not be aware of that might help carry his legacy on just a little bit further. And that's all I ever really want to do.
Absolutely. As that's why we were here. We are here. Uh, so my number one is Eddie and Dean's last match in the ECW arena. 2 out of 3 falls. Uh, they're they went bell to bell. Pretty much, it was like 40 minutes of pure, just mat wrestling. That is phenomenally work. That the ECW arena is on their feet this whole fucking match, and it's just two of the best in the world at the time doing what they do at their highest level. And it's not just the match itself, it's the cheers they got when they come out to the ring. It's the ECW locker room coming out after the match and putting those two boys on their shoulders as the ECW fans are chanting, "Please don't go." There, I watched that match this morning and I'm not even, I cried because it's two guys finally getting their flowers in an arena like that, and them being okay with the fact that they're up doing something bigger after they leave ECW, because they both got signed to WCW and were on TV for WCW the next week, if I'm not mistaken. But that match is so fucking great for ECW television. Shout out to ECW Hardcore TV. What is your number one, Chrissy?
uh, uh, this one was another gift from a friend, and I didn't even know this match existed, and when I found out I almost passed out, and I looked at it and I fell in love immediately. Eddie versus Ray versus Punk, IWA Mid-South in
Ah,
2002.
I almost had this match in my card. I switched this out for just the CM Punk Eddie match by
Mhm.
themselves. But yeah, this match is fucking phenomenal.
It's insane. Like it's like when people see Daniel Radcliffe and they're like Harry Potter and he's like, no, I'm in a different movie. Like it's almost like
Yeah,
that. Like it's like, how could these three people that are so associated with WWE possibly be in anything else? But they were, and it was this incredible match. And it's Punk figuring himself out. It's Eddie leading so well. It's Ray playing support, because I love Ray, and Ray
yeah,
on his own is an incredible star. But when it was Eddie and Ray together, Ray was always Eddie's support. And that's not a knock to Ray. You
yeah,
need someone there to help balance you out. And they were always that for each other, always that for each other. So watching Punk at this point in his career have to go ahead and work with these two in like giants of the business and maintain some kind of momentum and work, and it worked and it looked good. That's all you really need. If you manage to look good and stay consistent in a match with Eddie fucking Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, you're probably going to be okay.
yeah,
You're
absolutely.
probably going to be fine. I think he's doing well now. Whatever happened to that Punk kid? I think I heard good things.
He's on TV somewhere.
Yeah,
Probably.
somewhere with like a belt in the title, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But that's just who Eddie and Ray, but I always associate it more with Eddie for some reason of just being there for the up and comers, having words, having advice, and just knowing the effect that Eddie had on Punk,
Yeah.
knowing how much I love Punk. Phil Brooks, some days yes, some days no, but
Punk
Punk
is a
and
talent.
yeah, Punk is a talent, and just knowing the effect that he's had on Punk and Batista and Ray and Randy. And
Yeah.
I love Sean. You know, I love Sean, painfully love Sean. But in reality, if we're going to call a spade here, Eddie Guerrero really is your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. It's
Yeah.
him. And it's always going to be him. And I think just because God loves me a little bit some days, I can go back and watch literally 3 of my favorites of all time go at it in probably their most raw state, which is
Yeah.
such a lucky thing to be able to do.
Because I ain't gonna lie, that crowd in, rural Indiana in a barn, shout out to, Ian Rotten, not a good human being, but like
Gotta make
IWA
it work.
Mid-South, IWA Mid-South there had a moment where they had some of the best fucking wrestlers on the independent scene working for that man. So shout out to him for even thinking about putting those 3 in a ring together.
And I'm grateful forever
Yes.
for that.
Yes. And that's Eddie and Ray's like one of their last matches before they both get signed. Eddie going back and Ray getting signed to his first to the WWE
The
at
first
all.
time, yeah.
Yeah. That is it's crazy. And it's like unmasked Ray.
Yeah, and you can
Yeah.
even you can feel it. It's very palpable that they're a little bit more free
Yeah.
with what they're able to do. WWE has such a strict style. Sometimes it's even known as like breaking in their talent, like breaking the spirit of like a wild animal. Like you have to conform to the style of WWE. So just seeing free range Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio and CM Punk just go, it's such a rare thing. So I definitely suggest if no one watches anything else we've said tonight, definitely watch that match just to get the raw energy and aura of those 3 performers.
Absolutely. I am sorry, 1 minute. So that was our list. Thank y'all for joining us on this. And it is a short podcast. I do, things happen and uh
But sometimes when it comes to things like this, I think that's all. I think that's all you
oh,
really need.
we have a fucking guest. Hey XLJ.
I meant to message you earlier, Mike. I was going to pop in, but it's been a crazy day.
I know
Hi, cousin.
Hey, how are you?
I'm better now that I see your face. It's my 2 favorite white boys on screen.
I was about to say.
Oh man, first of all, great show. You guys killed it. It was amazing. All the matches you guys chose was awesome. I love like how it was such a unique mixture, and like you guys are saying too, man. There's so much of a body of work of Eddie Guerrero, like that you can talk about, and that's a lot of people probably haven't seen.
Yeah.
Like especially, I love how you guys talk about the Japanese stuff too as well, man. So good, so freaking good. But I just wanted to pop in and say hello, and if you don't mind, if I could tell a story,
Yes.
because this story took place 20 years ago to this day. This is a personal story. So yes, yeah. So I remember my buddy Matt hit me up. He's like, "Hey, I got some SmackDown tickets. We should go check it out." I'm like, and at this point, I'm kind of watching wrestling, but I'm kind of like, I'm slowly starting to fade out again because we all have those times where it's like we're in and out and love wrestling, fall out of love with wrestling, fall back in love with wrestling, whatever, So it's kind of like one of those down periods for me, And I was just like, I don't even know who was on the SmackDown roster, anything like that. So I was like, well, who's wrestling and stuff? And he mentioned some names, And he mentions Eddie Guerrero. I'm like, all right, I'm sold. Let's go. So we drive up. I get off work, drive up to Indianapolis in my '89 Ford Taurus, which is beat to hell but reliable, and go there to Bankers Life Fieldhouse and watch SmackDown. And I was so enthralled with the show. I mean, it was amazing. It was a great show. Like at the time, they were doing all those qualifier matches for the Survivor Series and stuff. I think they did JBL and Chris Benoit.
Yeah, no, that SmackDown's phenomenal.
It's a great show. It was a great show. Obviously had no idea what was going to happen thereafter. But I was just like, man, I am, because it was funny too, because on the ride up there, my buddy was telling me like, hey, this is what all's, fill me in. What's all's been going on in the world of the WWE? And, he tells me all the stuff about, the Rey Mysterio, Eddie stuff, and how like Eddie had just became back as like a baby face, and the stuff he was doing with Batista and stuff like that. So, and then, like I say, just remember watching the show, man. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I think I'm going to start checking this out again. And then just like the gut punch a couple days later, finding out that Eddie passed, it was just like, ah. But I had like this weird kind of like surreal moment, like, holy shit, like I got to see him perform. Because I'd never seen Eddie before in person, keep in mind. So it just goes to show you, what my point being is, like, life is too short, folks. Tomorrow is not promised. And like, if you have an opportunity to go to a show, go do whatever, hell, beyond wrestling, if you have an opportunity to go hang out with your friends, visit your family, do it. Don't let that shit where it's just like, I'm up for this or whatever, because you don't know. You just don't know.
I'm fine.
You're fine. You got this. You got this. I still, to this day, I have, this sounds crazy, but this is how much I love the man. I still, to this day, have the, this is how long ago this was too, by the way. Like, when you would park up there, you didn't have like a ticket or whatever. You had a placard you put on your mirror. I still have the placard, just because it's just like, it was just like, wow. And it's cool. This is really cool. Fast forward, X amount of years later, this past year at Squared Circle Expo, we had our table there, and who is right across from us? Mr. Kennedy. And like, he comes over and we're talking and stuff, and I, of course, talk about this and just like the fond memories, and just like he says, Kennedy was telling me like that, that's one of the most out of all my career, that's probably easily the top 5 most things people come up to and ask me or talk to me about, is the fact that I was in Eddie's last match. Just really cool. It was really cool. Like, just like full circle moment for me. Like I say, it's just like, I was there, and then holy shit, now I'm talking to a performer who got the distinct privilege of going against Eddie Guerrero in his last match. It was really cool. Can't say enough good things about Ken Anderson.
He seems like a great guy. I've talked to him a few times on TikTok. He's a really nice dude.
So it must be so nice to be famous.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, XLJ, while you're here, you might as well do a plug of fuck.
Oh shit.
Oh, we got the soundboard. I love it.
Oh man. Oh, I tell you, life be lifing. Like, it kind of even go on further what I was talking about earlier, man. Because you and I kind of talked during the day, and you knew what my day was like. I got slammed today at work, and there was part of me, I get home, man, and I'm like, I don't know, I wanted to get on, but I'm like, I don't know. This is like, no, fuck it, just do it, just fucking do it. Once again, I can't say that enough, people. But Plug-a-Palooza, nonetheless. Let's see what we got going, what we got cooking. Of course, replay of Pro Wrestling 60 is available now, and we have brand new episodes of The Hunt, and I'm your Huckleberry that's out. The Hunt, I got to go to this really cool place called Time Warp Toys in Fairborn, Ohio. Really awesome place. And then our latest episode of I'm Your Huckleberry, we check out one of my all-time favorite restaurants, Kilroy's Bar and Grill in Indianapolis. All I got to say for you folks is pepperoni sticks, stuffed mozzarella, pepperoni sticks, as I like to call them. So good. They will, you'll see the image and you'll instantly, I'm sorry to all you ladies out there, but you instantly become pregnant because they're that good.
That's a threat.
I'm just saying. And then for all you guys, you're gonna, and you know what I'm saying. It's that damn good. But those episodes are out now. We're working on some stuff coming up. Matter of fact, I'm actually getting ready to do a recording for next week's Coldcast, so that'll be coming to you next week as well. So, but that's all I got for you this week. One thing we're working on that's pretty cool coming up at the end of the year, of course, is Christmas week. So we got some cool plans for Christmas week. So stay tuned for that as well. So.
Can't wait.
Holidays are coming, man. I can't believe it's fucking November the 13th.
I'm gonna jump out of a building. Honestly, it's going so fast.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy.
fast.
It's crazy, man.
So, Chrissy, let everyone know where they can find you.
All right, babies. My name is Chrissy Tina across all social media platforms. Please make sure that you check me out on TikTok and Instagram. That is usually where I roam. Please make sure that you look at all of my backlogged episodes on the PW60 podcast with XLJ and MJ. Literally, probably two of the safest white men I've ever met in my life. So, I'll bet on that. I bet on that. If you're going to watch any food content, please make sure that you check out XLJ's stuff because legitimately he took me to an amazing restaurant in Vegas. And I still think about it. The fact that they let us sit down 5 minutes before closing. God bless those people.
That's a fucking story, isn't it, Chrissy?
Story and a half. That might need to be a little deep cut. That might need to be a little Patreon situation for y'all.
Could be. Man, that was a night.
But I was telling MJ before we started recording that this is my first pod in a very long time.
Since the last time she was on here.
Yeah, legitimately, there's been no one kinder to me than the PW60 family, and I'm forever and always grateful and always love y'all. And I love y'all too. So when I tell y'all, please support small creators, it's not just the indies, it's not just anything else like that. Please support small content creators, even though they're both way too famous to know me anyway. I'm pretty sure that they just need more girls in their group and that's why they know me. But these two gentlemen are probably some of the most well-versed wrestling minds I've ever met in my life. Both of them have incredible content all over the internet. Please make sure you find it. Support your local indie wrestling shows. I'm going to be tomorrow at No Escape in Ridgefield, New Jersey. So please make sure that you look out for me there. Please make sure that you support Battle Club Miracle on 39th Street at the end of November. I'm going to be looking to do interviews with Danny Nemesis, with Jorge Santi, with Jem, so many more incredible wrestlers across the indie scene on the East Coast, because you never know when you're going to find the next Eddie.
Facts.
Oh, that's so well put. So well put.
Well, guys, MJ Duplessis on all social medias. You can catch me here at Learning the Ropes, PW60, where I talk about independent wrestling events, World Championship Wreckage, Netflix, and Raw. Watch Pro Wrestling Monday Night Raw live every Monday with Doug and Michaela. And you can also catch me Survivor, as Dad had made me a Survivor fan.
What season are you guys on now?
9.
Sweet
Holy
Lord.
shit.
Y'all have gone so fast.
Yes. And then, that's all I got. So thank y'all for joining us, talking about the late, great Eddie Guerrero. Y'all have a good night.